Hi, this is Amy Ritterbush, and I wanted you to give you the select board actions taken for our April 4th, 2023 meeting. Let's see, at public forum, the only person that spoke was Mary Jo, and she wanted to recognize Pat Lynch, who had passed away recently, who had been a longtime town employee and volunteer. For the consent agenda, we accepted the resignation of Kathy Yang from the Sustainable Green Committee, which, although we're sad to lose Kathy, is an opportunity for a new person to step up. Then we had an update on the Boston Marathon final preparations from DPW, Fire, Police, and Communications, and everything seems to be in order. They've done this many times, very well organized and planned. And then we considered a proclamation for the town of Ashland. As you may know, Ashland was the start of the Boston Marathon for the first several years that the marathon was run. And this is the 100th anniversary of the last time it was held in Ashland. And so we wanted to commemorate that, and there's going to be an event at the Hopkins Center for the Arts on April 6th that the both select boards from both towns will be attending and honoring Ashland's contribution. Then, let's see. We had a new employee appointment. We approved the town manager's appointment of Elena Matos as a public safety dispatcher. She'd already been working per diem for the town, so now she'll move into a full-time position. We considered a common vic license for an entertainment license for O'Reilly Mexican Cuisine, which is hoping to open at 24 Main Street. Their paperwork is not yet complete yet, so we were not able to approve it, but we talked to the owners and we're excited about the opportunity, and hopefully we can approve them at the next meeting. Let's see, then we talked with the school staff and school committee about the expenditure of money from the Special Education Reserve Fund. As you may recall, we transferred money to this reserve fund at the last town meeting, and if it was needed, this is for special education out of district placements, and we don't always know exactly how much those are going to cost, so it's good to have some in reserve, and it was all needed this year. There was a huge increase in the cost of special education, so we approved that transfer. But we'll do it again next year. At town meeting, we'll set aside some money for special education reserve, and then if it's needed, we will transfer it to the school department so they can spend it as needed on out of district tuitions. Then we discussed annual town meeting again, and we talked about the ballot questions, which we voted to put all 6 on the warrant, or on the ballot. Number 1 is a sidewalk on Chestnut Street. Number 2 is a sidewalk from AMC Park to Blueberry Lane to keep kids from having to walk on Ash Street and some of the side streets without sidewalks. And we are trying to get federal funds for those, but we're keeping them on the warrant ballot in case we do need to request money from our own funds. Number 3 was for the fire station at Woodville, some design and engineering work. Number 4 is the HVAC system for the Hopkins Public Schools. Multiple HVAC systems there needed to work, and of course we want all our students and staff to have heating in the winter. So it's important to keep those maintained and replaced as needed. Number 5 was, just look that one up. Oh, number 5 is the Hopkins School Addition project. So Hopkins is getting too small for the number of students that we have at those grade levels, so we're going to build an addition, and that will be funding for that. And number 6 was the paving of Pratt Way and the Evergreen Cemetery and the Mount Auburn Cemetery. That's a pretty small amount, that number 6. Okay, and then we had an FY24 budget update, and we'll just note that the public hearing on the budget from the Appropriation Committee is this Monday, April 10th at 6 p.m. So it should be recorded, and you should be able to watch it on Cam later or attend in person. The town manager gave a report on the Main Street Corridor project, which is still on target to be completed at the end of October 2023. Had a PFAS update that the filtration system is coming along, and we should be able to get construction started at the end of April. And we did discuss using the cost for the filtration system is more than we budgeted at last year's town meeting, but we do have ARPA funds available that we can use for that. So the town manager is going to have a public hearing about that before we move forward, but it's otherwise still on target to begin construction at the end of April. And we also have an approved from Southborough, the connection to the MWRA through Southborough, but that's just the beginning of a long process. We will have to get engineering design all completed, get permits in place, and then we will have to come back to a future town meeting vote, maybe even in a couple of years, for the actual construction of the MWRA connection. So stay tuned for that. But that's our permanent solution to the PFAS problem. Okay, then we had our liaison reports, and Mary Jo mentioned that she went to the MWRTA Transit Authority meeting recently. And she said that we need to talk to our legislative team about funding because the Metro West Transit Authority is pretty underfunded compared to some of the others. And she noted that fees are coming back for this that had been waived during COVID. Muriel noted that there is a ribbon cutting for the Project Just Because new location coming up on April 14th, so some of us are going to go to that. We noted that the Ashland event on April 6th at the HDA to recognize Ashland's contribution to the marathon as the original start line. We noted there's a wreath ceremony at the Greek Consulate of Boston on April 13th, so some of us will try to attend that on behalf of the town. It's also related to the marathon. And then Hopkinton 101 is coming up on May 6th at Hopkinton High School, so some of us, we've reserved a booth and some of us will go try to talk about how people can volunteer for the town and everything. Okay, I think that was it. Thank you.